Hello and welcome to this episode of Warzone. Today, we're gonna talk about a humble weapon that's risen from obscurity to become an unlikely hero of the war in Ukraine. So much so, that there's a steady stream of memes and even tribute songs that have been made about it as it's become part of popular culture. The Anglo-Swedish, next-generation light anti-tank weapon, or NLAW, has a development history stretching back over 2 decades. In 1997, Britain's Defence Procurement Agency launched a new project to replace their rapidly aging LAW-80s with a next-generation weapon. Swedish Bofors of the Celsius Group, American Lockheed Martin, and German Dynamit Nobel replied with offers. Due to the limited spots of the NLAW trials, only the two former were rewarded with project definition phase contracts in 1999. Bofors began development of the so-called MBT-law the same year. In May 2002, Saab Bofors Dynamics was selected as winner over Matra Bay Dynamics in the NLAW trials. In June, a Memorandum of Understanding was signed between the British DPA and the Swedish Defence Materiel Administration, who also showed interest in the system. Accordingly, the NLAW program became a British-Swedish joint venture, although primarily led by Britain's DPA. It was developed in Sweden and produced in the United Kingdom, with final assembly done by subcontractor Thales Air Defence in Belfast, Northern Ireland. The two teaming partners have a marketing agreement, enabling any potential customer to procure the system from either Saab Bofors Dynamics or Thales Air Defence. The contract signed in June 2002, between Saab and the two defence authorities, was worth approximately 4.8 billion Swedish krona, including development and serial production. Sweden's share in the serial production was estimated at 1 billion Swedish krona. With the finalizing of agreements between Sweden and the United Kingdom in 2003, the development of the system continued until 2008, when it entered production in the UK. Deliveries of the weapon began in December 2008. It entered the service of the Swedish, Finnish and British armed forces the following year. It has been estimated that the UK requirement for the British armed forces was for 14,000 units or more. In 2005, the Swedish government placed a first order for 2,000 units from Saab. Finland has placed 3 orders between 2007 and 2017, for a total of 3,000 units. This was followed by Luxembourg, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Switzerland. Research for a new Swedish light anti-tank guided missile began in the 1990s by the Swedish Armed Forces, for its mechanized infantry which were lacking both tanks and anti-tank warfare weapons. Initially, the project focused on creating as simple and cost-effective a system as possible. After some analysis, the need for a man-portable anti-tank weapon with great effectiveness at short to mid-range emerged. In October 1999, the British DPA awarded Bofors, later Saab Bofors Dynamics, with a product definition order to procure a weapon prototype within 22 months, corresponding to the requirements of the British NLAW program. To be able to hit a moving target at 400 meters and a stationary target at 600 meters, with a maximum weight of 12.5 kilograms. Some of the requirements later made by the Swedish FMV was a lowered backblast area enabling it to be fired from indoors, a minimum effective range of 20 meters, and an environmental adaptation for international operations. Saab Bofors Dynamics, the DPA, and the FMV each paid a third of the assessment phase cost for the MBT-law, of £18 million. The FMV invested additional money during the NLAW trials, while the DPA ceased further funding until a contract was signed. The project gained momentum in 2002-2003 after being selected by the British and Swedish defence authorities, meeting the demanding requirements from both nations. Both launcher and missile development was done by Saab Bofors Dynamics in Eskilstuna and Karlskoga, Sweden, using technology derived from earlier Bofors systems. The United Kingdom and Sweden shared the development costs. Full production and delivery was expected to begin by the end of 2006, with the development phase nearing its end in 2005 according to Nick Moore. However, as a result of qualification failures in the tests of November 2006, it was delayed until 2008. Due to the similar requirements made by the Swedish and British defence authorities, the weapon comes with only minor differences in appearance. It uses a single-shaped charge warhead, as opposed to other comparable missiles that have a tandem warhead. Saab, who also develops the system software, announced in 2015 that they had been able to optimize the guidance system by fine-tuning its predicted line of sight. An effective range of 800 meters against stationary targets was demonstrated in April 2014. An effective range of 600 meters against moving targets has also been reported. As jobs are often the focus of large material orders, a requirement by the British DPA for signing a contract with the winner was that the production of the system would occur in the United Kingdom. For this reason, Saab Bofors Dynamics contracted UK-based Thales Air Defence ahead of the NLAW program, while Lockheed Martin contracted Matra Bay Dynamics. To produce the system, Saab and Thales went on to create Team MBTLAW UK, which included 14 subcontractors. As per the agreement signed between the United Kingdom and Sweden in 2002-2003, manufacturing occurred mostly in the UK, with final assembly and test done at the Thales Air Defence facilities in Belfast, Northern Ireland. The weapon went into full production in 2008. The final cost for the MBTLAW contract since the beginning of the NLAW program, including the assessment phase, development, and manufacture license, ended up at approximately £400 million. Team MBTLAW UK, which provided components for the system, included Thales Air Defence for final assembly, Base Systems Avionics to provide inertial avionics, NP Aerospace for plastics and composite moldings, FR High Temp for control fins and actuators, Raytheon Systems for electronics assemblies, Skeldings for special purpose springs, Thales Missile Electronics for the warhead's proximity fuse, as well as several others. The missile's warhead is made in Switzerland by Saab Bofors Dynamics Switzerland Limited. More than 24,000 units have been produced. Depending on the source, each unit costs between $20,000 to $30,000 and has a shelf life of around 20 years. The NLAW is a manned-portable, soft-launch, and confined spaces system, allowing the missile to be fired from almost anywhere. The operator can safely fire through any window of a room. The missile is first shot out of the launcher with a low-powered ignition system, after which its main rocket ignites and propels it to the target. Guidance uses a predicted line-of-sight system. For a moving target, the operator maintains tracking for at least 2 to 3 seconds. The software embedded in the missile's INS system makes a record of operator's aiming movement, and computes the flight path which will intercept the target. After launch, the missile flies autonomously along the pre-programmed flight path, controlled by an inertial guidance system. It is unnecessary for the operator to consider the target distance so long as it is within range, or to stay exposed whilst the missile is in the air. This is known as a fire and forget system. Against tanks and other armored vehicles, the overfly top attack mode is used. The missile flies about 1 meter above the line of sight, detonating the warhead above the target's weaker top armor via a proximity fuse and magnetic sensors. The direct attack mode is used against non-armored targets, detonating the warhead on impact via a contact fuse as the missile flies on the line of sight. The launcher can be fired only once and is disposed of after use. The operator can adjust the arming distance of the missile, to avoid a premature detonation triggered by the sensors when it flies over non-targets. They can also fire down or up at a 45-degree angle. The missile will auto-destruct at the maximum flight time of 5 to 6 seconds, which is about 1,000 meters. It is designed to operate in all climate conditions and environments, from -38 to +63 degrees. It is designated both as the Next-Generation Light Anti-Tank Weapon, NLAW, and the Main Battle Tank and Light Anti-Armor Weapon, MBTLAW, in the British Army. It replaced the obsolescent Law 80 system. Preceding the escalation of the Russia-Ukrainian war, by March 2022, the United Kingdom supplied 2,000 NLAW systems to Ukraine, with another 1,615 delivered by the 9th of March 2022 to bolster Ukraine's military. More NLAWs were requested by the Ukrainian military following reports that they proved highly effective against Russian vehicles, leading to at least 100 more being allocated by Luxembourg. Alongside U.S. Javelin anti-tank missile systems, delivered as a precaution against increased hostilities, the Ukrainian forces reported that NLAWs produced far greater damage against Russian armored vehicles than their standard Soviet-era equipment. On the 24th of March 2022, the UK pledged to deliver a further 6,000 NLAWs, and a senior Ukrainian military officer also claimed they were the weapon of choice for his troops, responsible for 30 to 40% of Russian tanks destroyed. An unknown number of launchers were captured by the armed forces of Russia and the pro-Russian self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic during the conflict. NLAWs were the most numerous advanced guided anti-tank missile in Ukraine as of April 2022. As of the 16th of March 2022, the United Kingdom confirmed that it had delivered more than 4,000 of their NLAWs to the Ukrainian military, to be used against Russia during the invasion. Ukrainian soldiers shouted, "God save the Queen," when they fired weaponry given to the country by the UK, the Sunday Times of London reported, citing an anecdote that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told. It's one of several light-hearted details described in the paper's report on the calls between Zelensky and UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, in which they discussed the UK sending weapons to Ukraine to defend against Russia. As of March 9, the UK had sent 3,615 anti-tank weapons known as NLAWs, next-generation light anti-tank weapons, to assist Ukraine, Sky News reported, citing UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace. NLAWs are shoulder-mounted weapons capable of firing a single 150mm high-explosive anti-tank missile up to 2,600 feet. They are built in Belfast, Northern Ireland, by the French company Thales, and they have been highly praised in Ukraine's defense. A video published by Sky News on February 26 showed the aftermath of a Ukrainian attack, where a soldier carried an NLAW not far from the smoldering ruins of tanks on a highway. They've enabled many of the tank ambushes that have slowed Russia's invasion. Although the NLAW alone won't turn the tide of this war in Ukraine's favor, but it's clear that this barely known Anglo-Swedish weapon has more than proven its worth in helping to blunt Putin's attack and save Ukrainian nation from destruction. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you can be alerted to our next episode. We'll see you again soon on Warzone.